Welcome to the WACO Experience, an American story.
We, the people.
With your host, D. Scott Smith.
In order to form a more perfect union.
Interviews with leaders in business, government, and nonprofit organizations.
Promote the general welfare.
Jobs, products and services, and infrastructure for strong communities. Secure
the blessings of liberty.
The WACO Experience is an American story, a story of communities across America. It is your story.
But you just take a pack of tortillas and you go across the suspension bridge, and there's where once was a bridge. It's like the top portion of it, and you throw the tortillas like a frisbee, and it's kind of a competition to see how many you can make on there.
I am grateful for all of those who support and encourage us here at the WACO Experience, an American story. I needed a supplement to my digital calendar, something to guide me in planning and tracking my goals. The Independent Planner is a notebook-style planner and journal designed for entrepreneurs by an entrepreneur. Take a look and learn more at independent-planner.com. Friends for Life, for over 35 years, providing support systems and services for seniors and people with disabilities. Learn more at friendsforlife.org. The Aspects of Aging weekly talk show with Christine A. Smith, unscripted conversations with experts. Christine's guests share about products, services, and information about aging. Watch each Monday live at noon Central or anytime at agingbetternetwork.com. Biddy & Bowes Coffee. Drop in for a hot or cold beverage. Biddy & Bowes provides jobs for people with intellectual or developmental disabilities. Visit them at 110 Franklin Avenue in Waco. The best way to learn guitar is with the Chord Buddy Learning System. This 100% U.S.-made product and Shark Tank winner will have you playing songs in minutes. Shop today at chordbuddy.com. So here we are. We are at the Cambria Hotel on Martin Luther King Boulevard here in Waco. It's 110 Martin Luther King Boulevard. I know that because I've spent about 2 weeks living here in 2024. We were here in June, and then we were back in September. I was pulling into the parking lot with the stuff to do our recording today, and it just felt like I was coming home. So today we've got Christina, who is sales manager.
Yes, sir.
Right? Mm-hmm. Sales manager. And then we also have Sabrina. And Sabrina, you are the assistant.
Yes, I'm the assistant general manager.
All right. Well, welcome to the WACO Experience, an American story, and you guys are right here in the heart of downtown. I just say it was wonderful to stay here and be able to walk over probably the most iconic, at least the oldest item in Waco. Christina, let's start and have you tell us about Cambria Hotel.
Yeah, so Cambria Hotel actually opened the first week before Thanksgiving of 2023. Since then, we have slowly started picking up. We haven't had to do much marketing because the property kind of sells itself, especially being on this side of the river. Being a Wacoan, I am born and raised here in Waco. Seeing something so beautifully made here on this side of the river, it's been attracting a lot of other, locals who like to see that. It's been a journey. Opening a brand new hotel, with this being the first time ever for me. Before I came to the Cambria, I actually worked at Wells Fargo for almost 10 years. So getting into the hospitality industry was completely different. It was very eye-opening. I had no idea what took place behind the scenes. Didn't even know there was such thing as a hotel contract. I would say it's been the most rewarding career that I have ever done. Being able to help guests make memories with events, hosting big teams such as the NCAAs, being a part of all of that from the start to finish. It has just been rewarding knowing that they trust me enough to put such an important event or an important stay for them, and just building the trust and relationships over the years. I think it's just going to help us continue to grow and be, I want to say, the best hotel in Waco.
So Sabrina, I want to come over to you, and you guys are just practically walking distance from a McLean Stadium.
Yes.
Lots of stuff going on. Introduce yourself, and let's talk about some of the traffic that's coming just from Baylor.
Again, I'm Sabrina, the AGM here. I've been in hospitality for over 12 years. I personally started as a front desk associate when I was 17. And then since then, I just kind of grew. Within a year, was an AGM. Then I went to dual property manager. And it's just been growing. And again, like Christina said, it's a very rewarding career. There's something about having that Southern hospitality in your heart that you get to share with people. Like you mentioned, how we made you feel when you come. That's the same way we expect all of our guests to feel. We want them to leave with something, a memory from us, and just to continue sharing the love. A lot of that has to do with our community as well, too, on how we all treat each other. We want to treat the people that come in for tourism the same way. I will tell you, with Baylor, we do get quite a bit of traffic from Baylor, and we are so thankful of our location. We get the games, groups come in, we get to see families, generations come in, the great-grandparents and mothers with their kids and then their kids. They all come together, they stay. We get to witness them eat at our restaurant. They have the dinners or going out to the game, coming back in all their souvenir and their Baylor gear, just ready to rock the stadium down there. So it is a very fun experience, especially when Baylor has all that traffic coming in for us. It's not just the football as well. There are so many other sports that we get the traffic from as well.
And Sabrina, you were talking before we went on air about tourism in Waco.
Yeah, so we were actually voted number one city for tourism in the state of Texas. So that was pretty neat for us.
And there's a lot of Texas, by the way. So
Yeah.
that's a big honor.
Yes, it really is. And that's a huge congratulations to all of us that work in hospitality, not just the Cambria, but every hotel, every director of sales managers, AGMs, the housekeeping managers. A huge thank you to our housekeeping staff at every hotel for making sure that we are taking care of people who come into our city.
So Cambria is part of the Choice Hotel, I guess, family of hotels.
Yes.
And there's a lot of different brands. Let's talk about why are there so many different brands?
There's just so many different ones because they have basically different properties for different kind of travelers. There are some properties that are specialized in hosting extended stay guests. There are some that you're working on a budget. And then with the Cambria, with it being a brand new part of Choice, it's more of the upscale brand. We're now able to offer upscale services to those different clienteles. I feel like Choice is a brand to watch out for. We're always adding new things. Seeing people walk in, they had no idea, they couldn't believe that this is part of a Choice brand. Because if you've ever experienced or ever gone to any other Cambrias, you'll notice that whatever city the Cambria is in, they focus on a lot of the local arts and different designs and just different things like that on how they can bring a part of the city into that property and showcase like the culture of the city, which is important, especially for the locals that are here. They come here whenever they see, some of our meeting space. We actually have a boardroom that's called the Paul Quinn.
Tell people about Paul Quinn College and what that means.
Yeah.
Because it was part of East Waco.
It was. Paul Quinn was the first African-American college here in Waco. It is now no longer located here in Waco. It is in Dallas now. But the founding of it was here in Waco. Very, very historical. We have other pieces in the event space, the names, and just different aspects throughout the hotel.
And just to follow up on the Paul Quinn, the actual campus was not very far from here.
No.
And there is a group that is working to do restoration on that. Wonderful stuff there.
Yes.
And I'll throw this out to either of you. Let's talk about some of the art here inside, because actually walking up, there's some great art outside. There's great art inside. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so the colorful pieces that you'll see throughout, it was actually selected from a artist located in Las Vegas, who our owner actually knows and has always loved his art and wanted to showcase that here in his property at the Cambria. Other aspects throughout the hotel, such as the carpet, it looks like water, and so we kind of wanted to replicate the Brazos River when picking out the carpet. There's different light fixtures. If you're walking down any of the hallways, you'll notice the little lights on the walls look like a solar eclipse. We wanted to showcase that historical moment that we had here. Many other different aspects throughout the hotel, but that's just to sum a few.
So the eclipse, having experienced a couple of them, one of them was in 2017 when it went across. And that's actually one of the reasons why I wanted to be in Waco for the eclipse, because it is a life-changing event. For people who haven't experienced it, find a way to get to Spain coming up, I think, is the next one. So definitely be there. Sabrina, maybe you can tell us about your experience with guests and folks that came in specifically for this event.
So I will tell you for the eclipse, it was, first we thought it was going to be this, it was a huge thing for Waco, it was, but I would say on the day the weather was kind of giving us a little bit of a scare. We were scared we weren't going to see anything. Thankfully, we all got to enjoy it. Our guests sat outside and they kind of tailgated in the parking lot. We restricted our parking lot for our guests so that they could have that experience here. Like, again, families sitting out there enjoying it. They have their little ice chests out there and drinking some punch and eating sandwiches like it was a picnic. We also got to see the community across the street sitting down with their blankets right by the Brazos River, enjoying it. It was a very good experience. Very rare to see how it got dark and then it was like nighttime out of nowhere.
It was it's just a crazy event.
Yeah.
And it actually changes the weather. There was cloud cover. The eclipse came and it had cleared enough so that we were able to experience the eclipse. But then it got completely clear after that.
Yeah.
It was just very interesting. For folks that are just listening in, describe walking across the river or walking across the street, because you've got the park, the bridge, the downtown, the river. Tell people about what they would experience here.
Yeah, so right across the street from us is the Brazos River. There's also the Extension Bridge. Very romantic spot, I will tell you that. We have also been voted one of the romantic spots in Waco. It's an experience to get to come right out of this beautiful property, and you're on the East Waco. You walk down the bridge. There's right there the convention center. Betty and Boo's Coffee is right across the street from us. Just saying, if you've never experienced there, you have to go.
Absolutely.
There are plenty of restaurants down there, nightlife. There's plenty of bars down there for people who come for Baylor and they want to get out. It's very lively at night. You wouldn't expect it from a city of Waco, how much we're growing, and at night it does come to life.
Yeah, absolutely. And Christina, you grew up in Waco. You're a Wacoan. Should people bring tortillas to the bridge?
Yes, you have to. That's an experience.
So tell people what that means.
For as long as I can remember, at night, it's a perfect date idea. So fellas, if you're listening, it's a cute little romantic thing to do with the missus. But you just take a pack of tortillas and you go across the suspension bridge, and there's where once was a bridge. It's like the top portion of it, and you throw the tortillas like a frisbee, and it's kind of a competition to see how many you can make on there. The
pylon, the old pylon, and it's flat concrete there. Yeah, so if people go, they'll see
there's
tortillas
some tortillas
on there. And you wonder, what is that all about? So it is a part of the romance.
Yes.
Of course, Valentine's Day is coming.
Yes.
The weather's going to be nice.
Yes.
Perfect time.
Yes.
Talk about the restaurant here.
Yeah, so we have our on-site Boulevard Steakhouse. It's the most perfect romantic steakhouse. I have never been anywhere more romantic. The setting that we have in the evenings, just the way the lights come down low and how the tabletop lights are on the Fridays and Saturdays. We actually have a live pianist that plays, and we'll also have a live performer on Valentine's as well. It just sets the mood. You do not feel like you're even in Waco. The thought process putting into the restaurant was more of like an old school Chicago, like downtown Chicago vibe. And so being able to execute that here in Little Waco, it gives all of our guests and all of our locals just an experience that they've never had.
So I will tell you from experience last year, we sold out very early for Valentine's dinner, and it was a hit. So we do highly recommend making reservations on resi.com. So if y'all don't have plans, please start booking that. We'll also have flowers here. So, it's last minute. Some of these gentlemen get off of work late and they need to pick something up. We will be ready for you. It is a wonderful experience. Part of the Boulevard here is our servers. It's not a rush experience. We want you to come, be seated. That is your server. We will dedicate our attention to you. We don't want you to be rushed. Like some restaurants, you'll go in and it's like, let me get your order, put it in, out the door, give me the ticket, go. No, we want to get to know you. We want to communicate with you. We want to make an experience and a bond so that you come back with us.
It's the perfect date experience. Come down, take time, relax, enjoy some really good food, then take a walk out, through some tortillas. Sabrina, let's talk about your journey into hospitality. So you have chosen, like me, to live in Waco.
Yes. So I can't put a finger on where this comes from in me, but everybody wants to feel loved. Everybody does. When people travel alone, when they walk in our doors, we don't know where they're coming from. We don't know what their day was like. But when they come to us, we want to let them know we're here. You are ours. You got our attention. We want to take care of you. And as a kid, I would tell you from growing up, my father was very absent. My mom went through things, with a little bit of background there. But I always knew that when I got older, I wanted to provide something I never got. And hey, and I'm getting paid to do it. So now I get paid to do it. But we want to make sure that in hospitality in Waco, we're giving it. And especially, I would say for my staff, when I hire them, I always tell them, when you leave here, you can go anywhere as you want. But I know I've done my job. If you leave with compassion in your heart to take care of others, then I know my job has been done with you. And that's the same thing with the guest. Sometimes, I'm speaking for all people in hotels, we do get some unruly people, but a lot of times we're just listening to them and having empathy for them, and they just want somebody to hear them. Well, we're here, we're doing it, and I want to make sure we continue doing that.
I think last year I spent probably more than 60 nights in different hotels. Some of them were like quaint in rural Utah, right? Just very rustic, very different experience. Coming into Cambria, we booked again because of the experience we have with the staff, with the facility, with the location. There's a lot of things that come together. Christina, let's talk about your journey into hospitality. You, as you said, you came from banking. I was in banking. I spent 12 and a half years, I think, in banking. I will say it does prepare you to work with folks, because when you deal with people's money, they become very sensitive. Yes. And I remember telling my staff, no oops. Nope. Right? When they hand you money and you're keying the things in and you make a mistake, you don't go, oops. Nope. It's like, nope, what did you do with my money? So tell us about your journey through financial services and into hospitality.
Yeah, so at the bank at Wells Fargo, I started off as just a little teller back in 2014, not knowing that I was just going to grow quickly within that company. I became a personal banker within 2 years from being a teller. Held that position for about 3.5 years, and then we had the business specialist position come up. At that time, as a personal banker, I was still kind of taking in the business clientele, because those are the ones that I really enjoyed working with. I got it was just a better feeling, helping those business customers to know that I was being part of their foundation, especially with the startup businesses and stuff like that. And of course, you build those long-term relationships, because as a business owner, it takes a lot to trust. And so once you have their trust, you're pretty much locked in. I held that position all the way up until, 2023? Whenever I had the opportunity to come over here as a sales manager. When it was brought to me, I was kind of questioning, I've never worked at a hotel before. I don't know what all it consists in. I decided, I've gone through enough things in my life. Normally I am afraid of change, but with the things that I've gone through, I knew that, this was probably my calling. This was probably something that I was going to be okay to get through, and not to be scared. And so I took that leap of faith. I will say it's been a very hard journey, but it's been, like I said, very rewarding. It's allowed me to grow in more of the hospitality side. I've always dedicated myself to my customers at the bank, but doing it more so in a different way here, it's had me put more of a perspective on people and how they handle certain situations. And from the beginning, like I mentioned at the beginning of this, being a part of it from start to finish. And then once we get those rebookings that they've trusted me enough, they want to come back. It's so rewarding, and it keeps me motivated to just keep doing what I'm doing. Every day I'm learning something new. I learn something new every single day. But I know that it's just going to allow me to get to where I need to be.
So that's some good inspiration for folks to say, you can try things new.
You can.
You don't have to be concerned.
Yeah.
Obviously, you brought some trust
Yes.
that people felt when they interviewed you.
Yes.
They wouldn't have offered you the job otherwise.
They believed in me when I didn't even see it. They were hard on me at the beginning, and they still are. Yep, they still are. But, at the beginning, I was just questioning. Like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know. But they believed in me. They put their trust in me, and they just kept motivating me. Like, we chose you for a reason. It's made me who I am today. I feel like, I'm kicking butt.
Well, my daughter worked for a global hotel chain. There's some benefits if you want to travel yourself.
Yeah.
I found that I couldn't afford to not bring her along on some trips. So we went to Manhattan, and we stayed there for 5 nights and
Nice.
paid very little compared to what it would have been had I not had
Yes.
that employee rate. So I'll just say, consider hospitality if you want to do
Yeah.
some traveling yourself.
Yeah. Be friends with someone who works in hospitality.
Be friendly.
Be friendly. We take
So
care
come
of
on
people.
down. Come on down right here.
We look out for people.
110 Martin Luther King Boulevard here in Waco. And let's talk about some of the events that are coming up in 2025.
Yes, so we actually have a lot of chamber events. We work with a lot of the Waco Chamber. They do a lot of their annual fundraising campaign events here. We have one coming up within the next 2 weeks. It's the Hispanic Leaders Networking. They will actually have the mayor here speaking at this event. So I'm looking
Mayor
forward.
Jim Holmes?
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that.
Good.
We have a lot of the NCAA teams on the books. So we'll be hosting a lot of the opposing teams that will be playing here against Baylor.
And still giving them a good night's rest, though.
Oh, yes, most definitely. Most definitely. We try not to wear our green and gold on those days, but deep down in the heart, they know, we're supporting Baylor. There's so many different events. We actually have one of our first weddings that will be in August of this year, which is very, very exciting. That's been one of the pushes because of the amount of event space that we have here. We have almost 6,000 square foot in event space, perfect for anybody who has a wedding. Or a quinceañera. There's so much event space. I mean, it's so beautiful. The way that we've designed it is you don't have to do much in our rooms.
And they can just walk right across the street for all the photos.
Exactly.
Exactly. Perfect backdrop.
It's perfect.
With the bridge, the river, everything.
Yes, it is the ideal location.
Yeah.
That is for sure.
Let's, Sabrina, let's talk about the future. What do you see as the future with Waco, with Cambria?
I guarantee that Waco is going to be pushing some competition on the other big like Dallas, Houston, San Antonio. Waco will have our own river walk down here, kind of like San Antonio, but we have a rural river. So that's going to be pretty neat. We're going to be bringing that in, a shopping center all in this area. We are getting a huge baseball complex down here, so that's going to bring in a lot more business for Waco. All of these things that are growing, the community is going to grow from this. Not only Waco, but I personally just want to say for East Waco alone, for a little community spot over here, most people were scared to walk across the bridge a long time ago. And a lot of locals will tell you that. And now it's like, oh my God, look, it's so different. It is so different. There's so much going on in East Waco. All these small businesses are getting together. We're working together to make it beautiful. I mean, it's so much history, and we want to share that with everybody. That it's not we're not just Waco, we're East Waco on the side.
I was going to say there's some pride in East Waco.
Very much, yes.
And we're sitting here in the conference room, and if we look out, there's a big East Waco sign on the apartment buildings there, on the townhouses there.
Yeah, and right down the street is the Syntec African Chamber of Commerce, and they're doing a lot for this area as well too. It's a beautiful relationship that we're building with this side of the community.
Yeah, there's just a lot going on. A lot of changes have happened. We got to interview J.D. Draper, who is an officer with the police here in Waco, and she grew up. Her grandmother was a dispatcher for the police department, and when she was growing up, she said, "You didn't go to downtown at night. You didn't go to Cameron Park at night." But the world has changed. Yeah,
it is. Now they have blankets and they're having romantic dinners downtown. It's a huge difference now. Very different. Even the ducks are happier. And the ducks are on East Waco now.
Christina, tell us about your vision for this area and what you would like to see with East Waco, with downtown Waco, tourism, the university, all these different things that are coming together.
Yeah, so like what I would love to see, like I said, being here from Waco, especially during the Brazos on the bridge, we weren't able, my mom would allow me, you can walk across the bridge, but once you get to that Elm Street side, you better turn around and come back. Not being able to be a part of this side just because of the history. Unfortunately, the history that has been on East Waco, to see it now completely different. I am completely safe walking at night with my children, which I have whenever I attended events here over in Indian Springs Park. Just seeing the growth, I would like to see more just things for the community here to do, especially like children. Having children of my own, to do something fun here locally. We always would either drive towards Austin or drive towards Dallas, but slowly starting to see those friendly attractions come into Waco, I think is just going to allow more people to come here instead of us having to leave. Especially when we were part of the ribbon cutting when they brought the penguins to the zoo. That is my favorite animal. And so stuff like that, it just attracts more and more people. Seeing on Wednesday nights the farmers market that we host right here next to the Cambria, seeing different things that the community does, bringing everything and everyone together. I have a lot of pride with my town, showing the support, and me being able to be a part of that also, because we've hosted many things here with Creative Waco, who has done a lot for the community, and making events that are kid friendly for everybody has just been one of the biggest blessings to see, because there's so many events in the past that my kids are like, "Oh, can I go?" I'm like, "I'm sorry, baby, you can't. We can't go because kids aren't allowed." But being able to attend things with my kids is super important.
Christina, thank you for taking time to join us here on the WACO Experience, an American Story.
Thank you for having me.
And Sabrina, thank you for your hospitality and allowing me to come in.
It's my pleasure, and we hope that we get to share it with more people in the future, a lot more.
The WACO Experience, an American Story, is a production of D. Scott Smith Company, all rights reserved. Thank you for listening.